Thanks for joining me on this episode of Quick Business Tips. I'm Jennifer Swineford, and today there is so much energy in the air as we are wrapping up 2025. And if you're anything like me and hundreds of business owners that I've talked to over the years, you are feeling a very unique type of pressure. And it's a little bit of this wrapping up the end of the year, starting the next year strong kind of manic energy. And we've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks. And maybe you have been looking at your list of goals for next year, listening to podcasts or reading books telling you that you need to 10x your revenue. Maybe you're watching other reels or signing up for workshops talking about their brand new strategy for Q1. And your natural instinct is one that we've all had as business owners. And that is that feeling that you need to do more. Maybe you think you need to start your own podcast. You need to launch a new program. You need to add TikTok to your list of platforms that you're marketing on. Or maybe you feel like you need to hire some more people on your team. Because we all have this belief we picked up somewhere along the way that to do more means that we're going to grow. We think that if we want more revenue, we need to have more offers. If we want more leads, we need to be present on more channels. And if we want more success, we need to hustle more. But today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to stop adding because the truth is, for most of you, if you're listening to this podcast, you don't need to do more. For most of you, you are drowning in more. You're drowning in tasks, you're drowning in open tabs, you're drowning in the complexity of your business. And the truth is that if you want to build a castle, you can't do it on a foundation that's crumbling. Because it doesn't matter how big or how tall or how many turrets you put in this castle, if the foundation's crumbling, it's going to fall down. So today on this episode, we're not going to make a to-do list. We are going to make a not to-do list. We're going to spend the next few minutes together, do an audit of your business, prune the dead wood that has to go, remove the zombie offers and the vampire clients so that the healthiest parts of your business can really flourish next year. Now, if you think about your business like a garden, I know it's cliche, but hang with me. And you want a massive harvest next fall, summer, fall. You want the big prize-winning tomatoes, or you want the beautiful roses. What do you think you have to do right now? You go out, you look at your flower bed or your garden, and maybe it's full of weeds or dead vines from last year, rocks that seem to have grown from the ground. What are you going to do next spring? Are you just going to throw some expensive seeds out and hope that they grow up? No, because the weeds that are there and the old dead vines, they're going to choke it out. They're going to block the sunshine. And the soil is just going to be completely depleted from all of the stuff that it was doing last year. The new stuff won't thrive because the old stuff's still hanging around. Before you can plant your garden, you have to clear it out. You have to pull the weeds, trim back the dead branches, maybe till the soil, add some new nutrients, and that is going to give you the garden that equals the same business that you want to flourish. So if you have offers that aren't converting, marketing channels that are draining the very soul of your business, or clients that are underpaying you and really they're just a pain, those are the weeds in your business. They're the dead vines. And if you go into 2026 and you just try to plant more new and do more, whether it's a marketing strategy or offers or bringing in new leads, those weeds that are in your garden right now, they're just going to eat up all of those potential new profits. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we can clear that flower bed, clear the garden, and start creating some space that can allow growth in your business. A few years ago, several, I realized that my own business garden was completely overgrown. I had fallen into the more is better trap. I was a little insecure, and I thought that to be taken seriously as a marketing agency and a consultant, I needed to be everything to everyone. I needed to have a solution to every problem. So I built a business model that was a lot like the menu at the Cheesecake Factory. You know how it is when you walk into the Cheesecake Factory, you sit down, you're hungry, they hand you your menu, but it's not really a menu. It's a spiral bound novel. There's 400 items on the Cheesecake Factory menu. It goes from tacos to pasta, shepherd's pie, and even pad thai. You stare at it, you turn the pages, and if you're like most people, you get overwhelmed. Your brain shuts down from decision fatigue, and usually you just order the same thing you did last time, or you walk out feeling completely stressed. That's what my business looked like. I had the low ticket courses, the high ticket consulting, the done for you services, the retainer model, the VIP day, the upsell, the downsell. I thought I was being helpful. I thought, look at all these solutions I have for all of these problems, all these different ways I can serve a client, no matter what their budget or need is. But here's what was happening in my sales calls. I'd get on a Zoom call with a prospect, and they would tell me their problem. And instead of giving them a clear solution, I would start reading from my menu of options. Option A is this, but if you want more support, we can go with option B. Or if you just want the strategy, we can go with option C. If you'd like me to train your team, it's option D. I could see their eyes start to glaze over. I could see the confusion start. And even though I knew what was happening, I just couldn't stop myself. I knew that the golden rule of sales is that when you're confused, you always say no. Then they wouldn't say it to my face. They'd say, let me think about it. Let me process it. Let me take a look at your proposal. And then they would ghost me. I was losing sales because I was giving them too many options. So I did something that felt terrifying at the time, and I started pruning back my business. I looked at what was bringing in a profit. I looked at what was bringing me joy, and I cut more than half of my offers. I killed all the low ticket offers that were costing me way too much in time, effort, and energy. I killed the complex retainers that was making me and my team miserable. And I stripped everything down to 4 core offers that were valuable, well received, and profitable. And these were the offers that brought me the most joy and fulfillment. So over the next 90 days, my sales calls were significantly shorter. My confidence was through the roof because I wasn't fumbling with all of the different options. And my closing rate went up. By removing all the clutter from my business, I was able to multiply my profits. So what are some ways that you can do this for your business? How can you figure out what you should cut and what you shouldn't? Because so many people come to me saying, I have one offer that brings in $500 a month and I just can't lose that. I want to teach you today a tool that I use with my private clients. Imagine that we have a graph. The vertical axis is profitability from high to low, and the horizontal axis is joy and ease, or like low lift. How easy is it for you and your team to do it? That allows you to create 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, high profit, high joy. This is the sweet spot. For me, this is my strategy and consulting. This is my coaching. It makes me money. I love doing it. This box is scale this. This is what you want to lean into as much as possible for 2026. Now, quadrant 2 is low profit, but still high joy. These are oftentimes your passion projects. Maybe it's a podcast, a beta group that you want to try with coaching or membership, or some pro bono work for not-for-profits, or some other thing that brings you a whole lot of passion. You're not going to make a lot of money from this box, but it really fills you up. So if you keep this as a hobby, or you keep this as kind of a marketing engine, depending on what goes in this box, you can know how to manage your time here, and you know that what's happening in this box is not going to pay your bills. Now, quadrant 3, we have high profit, low joy. This is the golden prison. This is the client that pays you $10,000 a month, but calls you at 9 p.m. on a Saturday and treats your team like just terrible people. Now, while the service makes a lot of money, it requires so much energy and so much effort from you and your team that you can't possibly scale it. So you can automate what goes in this box, you can delegate what goes in this box, or you can raise the price of what goes in this box. Because if you hate it, you need to charge that misery tax on whatever service falls in this box, or hire someone else to do it who loves it. Now, quadrant 4 is low profit, low joy. This is the box where you want to find a way to shut down anything that's in there. This is the service offering that you just never want to deliver. The margins are super thin. This is what we call zombie offers. These offers that live in this box of low profit, low joy, they are walking around and they are eating your brain. They are eating your joy. Now, these offers may not be living things, but you still need to kill them immediately, if not sooner. These services, these offers, they go on your not to-do list right at the top. And you want to be ruthless here, because if you have anything in this low profit, low joy quadrant, it's dead weight, and it is going to kill your business in 2026. Now, going through these 4 boxes, this is going to help you significantly. But there's another form of subtraction that can really boost your business, and it's one of the hardest ones for a lot of businesses. These are the vampire clients. We all have one or more currently or in the past. You know it. You can picture them. They pay the least, they demand the most, they email you or text you in all caps. They question your expertise, they question everything that you do. And every time they call you or their name pops up in your inbox, your stomach drops. You're keeping them because you're leaning more into the scarcity mindset than the abundance mindset. You're afraid to lose the revenue that's coming in from these clients, but it's important to realize that this client is really costing you more than they're bringing in. They're sucking your energy that could be used to find more amazing clients. They're demoralizing your team, and they definitely need to go on your not to-do list next year. Think about at least one client relationship that you need to cut ties with. Now, I'm not going to give you a canned script because you know what you need to say to them, but here's a framework that you can use for the conversation. It has 3 parts. First is a shift. You never want to fire a client because they're annoying. You want to fire them because your business is changing. Something like, we're restructuring our business and we're going to focus more on X. They need to fall outside X. So you need to be the reason why you are no longer going to serve them. Part 2, just walk through with them what this change means for them and don't leave any wiggle room. Because we're making this change next year, we're going to be sunsetting these specific services. We'll offer you these services. They won't be offered by our company anymore. And part 3 is the bridge. Now, this is where you make it clear to them that you still care. You're not going to leave them high and dry. You're going to offer them another resource, a referral, or some final wrap everything up in a bow deliverable. So you can say something like, to make sure you're taken care of, I'm going to recommend that you reach out to, here's a couple of names. Or here's some final steps that you and your team can use to help you move forward. And if you use that three-part framework where you talk about the shift in your business, what that means to this client, and then that bridge that shows that you still care about them, and this is what you're going to do to get them through, it takes the emotion out of it and it keeps the conversation super professional. Now, we've talked about some offers, services, programs, we've talked about clients. And the last thing I want to talk to you about today is habits. And habits can fall into some time vampires. Everybody sort of falls into this from time to time, and you just got to remember to wake up and get yourself out of it. So I took a look at how I was using my screen time, and it was a little horrifying. I realized that I was spending several hours every week engaging on social media. But when I got real honest with myself, it wasn't engagement. It was a lot of scrolling, some comparing, a little numbing out. And that time I was spending was really low value for the rest of my business. So next year, on my not to-do list is spending so much time on social media. I'm going to set hard boundaries and clear lines. I'm still going to post because I have a business to run, and I think that it's important to just turn on the lights when it comes to social media. But I'm not going to do the post and ghost because we all know that doesn't work. However, I am going to limit my engagement time to 30 minutes a day, Monday through Thursday. That gives me Friday and the weekend where I can just shut off social media. I'm still there for my clients. I'm still turning on the lights Monday through Thursday. And let's be honest, I don't really want to work on Friday most of the times anyway. So that gives me 30 minutes to post, reply to comments, check DMs, and do some of my own liking and commenting on the posts in my feed. Then I shut the app down, and every other part of the day is social media free. I'm going to instead reclaim all the hours that I was wasting on social media this last year for more deep work, for piano lessons, to go to the gym, and to just spend time with family and friends. So my challenge to you this week is for you to find your own time vampires. Even if you don't have an app or something else that could tell you how many hours you've been spending on social media, we all know it deep down inside. Maybe it's checking your email before you go to bed, or checking your email before you get out of bed. Maybe it's saying yes to these pick your brain coffee chats that you know are going nowhere. Whatever it is, put that on your not to-do list. There's this concept that's called the vacuum law of prosperity. It says that nature abhors a vacuum, and if you want something new to come into your life, you must create the space for it. You can't fill a cup that's already full up. You have to pour out some of that water first so that you can fill it up with new, fresh water. That's what we're doing with this not to-do list. We're pouring out the old stale water so that there's room for new, fresh, life-giving water to come into your cup. So your homework for this week is to write out a single goal for 2026. Either your resignation letter. I want you to write your resignation letter for things that aren't working, for clients that are no longer working for you, or for time that you are spending on things that aren't working out. So cut one zombie offer, cut one vampire client, and cut one time suck habit that you've fallen into. That will allow you to create your space, and growth will follow. I really appreciate you spending time with me, and I hope that you will take the time to continue to clear your garden so that you can have beautiful fruit next year. Until next week, keep leading with integrity, serving with heart, And don't be afraid to say no so that you can say yes to even more limitless impact. I'm Jennifer Swineford with Limitless Impact Agency.